what people say all the time, like, Aaron passed a month ago. How are you dealing with this? How are you like being able to kind of do all of these things and not just kind of laying up in bed? And but I just keep going back to like, the person that came up to me and was like, Aaron doesn't end here. Aaron can't end here.
Hey y'all, DFOS here. My goal with this Limitless Theory 360 podcast is to connect you with the very people that have positively impacted my life and will continue to impact thousands of others by providing education-based and actionable techniques to creating a limitless perspective on life.
So my guest today is a former high school classmate of mine, someone that we actually go back quite a few years and we haven't talked in a few years, and we're here for some unfortunate circumstances, but something that we're moving forward with. He is a current U.S. soldier, and he is the president of the Murphy Fund, someone who is striving for better and trying to make the most of his situation, and he's, progressing forward to leave a legacy for somebody else. So it's awesome to have him here, and it's really cool to have him here for what he's doing and what he's pushing, and I can't thank him enough for taking the time to do what he is doing and, like I said, be here again and share his vision and his goals for the future. So here we are with Will Naylor. What's up, Will?
Hey man, what's up? Thanks for having me. This is cool. I'm liking it.
Yeah, it's a cool experience. You got the official setup.
Yeah. It's not as official as it looks, I swear.
Yeah. So, what's it been? Probably 2-3 years since we.
Probably, man. It's probably been. Since you've moved down there, really, since you moved from Rhode Island.
It was a little over a year ago, but even before that,
before that, yeah, it's probably about the 2.5-3 year range for sure.
Crazy.
We go way back though.
It's actually really wild. Ups, downs too, like lots of ups and downs.
Yeah. That's high school though.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of stupid crap that went on, but nonetheless, persevered.
Yeah. Here we are.
Yeah. So like, give everyone kind of a background on what you did coming out of high school.
So fresh out of high school, I did like the community college route for like a little bit. Okay. And then I'm just so bad at school. I joined the National Guard.
I remember that.
I've been in the Rhode Island National Guard right now for it'd be 7 years this upcoming January.
Wow.
And I've just been, I've been
7 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Holy shit! All right, so keep going. Sorry.
But I've been working a lot. The usual kind of on and off retail jobs, but like most recently, and what's kind of been really, I've been going back and forth from. I worked for the Naragansett Council, which is the Boyscouts of America. Here in Rhode Island. So, and I've been doing a lot of things. I worked at their summer camps, and now I work full time there. And me and the other people that work with me manage their inner city district.
Okay.
So it's a lot of dealing with, youth with some troubled background and youth with, that just don't have kind of like the means for a normal experience that scouting would offer. That's pretty much it, man. Other than that, just trying to live life, vacation as much as I can, to be honest with you.
You're also coaching volleyball, right?
Yeah. I coached a lot of volleyball. I'm taking a little bit of time off because I've been doing all this, the Murphy Fund stuff, and the Army's really been picking up. But I started coaching in Central Falls, and this might have been 2014. And I kind of bounced around. I coached at Cranston East. I coached at Cranston West. Yeah. I coached at CCRI. I coached at Bryant University.
So You got
I've,
ranked
yeah, I've
yeah.
definitely, I definitely kind of worked my way up, but
That's wild. I didn't know Cranston East and Cranston West, and I also didn't know about Bryant. That's dope.
yeah, I was an assistant for their men's club team.
Okay.
But big shout out to the head coach there now. His name's Tom. Was a former professional volleyball player. Is an awesome person to learn from as far as coaching and everything goes.
I think it's a hard trait to pick up, but if you can learn how to just deal with people and personalities and coach and lead people,
Yeah.
it can translate to anything you're doing in life, which is something you definitely obviously gained experience with, learning from leadership in the National Guard and then applying that to working with the Boy Scouts of America and all that. That makes sense.
Yeah, and everybody has those leaders that they're too much, and then the leaders that aren't enough. I try to use them to put me right in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to find that soft spot for you. So now, what's the next big thing for you in terms of the National Guard and coaching and the Murphy Fund? Like, where is everything kind of transitioning to right now, and what kind of put you in a position to start the Murphy Fund as the president, like going about those skills again?
Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of weird. Everything's kind of added up to this point right now. And, whatever you believe in, if you believe in, you're kind of set, you were meant to do this one thing, or, everything in life prepares you for this one big grand finale thing that you're going through. That's where I feel at right now with the Murphy Fund. And, I've taken a lot of skills as a leader through the Army, and in my job in the Army specifically, I handle communication. So it's a lot of technology. It's a lot of computer work and radio work. And that translates directly into building sites and doing all these online things, which I've been able to put towards the Murphy Fund. And then coaching, it's just it's player management. It's not so much like telling somebody what to do, but, making them, they're really good at this one thing. So let's bring that out and use this other person. So right now my mind really is just all the Murphy Fund, the Murphy Fund, the Murphy Fund. And I've just been kind of head down running with it. And it definitely feels like that's kind of where, I think for the rest of my life, I'm going to be doing the Murphy Fund stuff.
Nice.
And hopefully it gets to the point where it's all I have to do and I can be able to just focus all my time on it. That's where I'm at with everything like that. I love the Army. I love coaching, but I can feel you get this feeling. You just this is what I'm doing. This is it.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, man. It's tough, right? Because you came about this situation, this opportunity as a result of something. But I want to ask you, kind of jump back, right?
Yep.
Let's go back. The Murphy Fund is for Aaron, and where did you and Aaron start? When?
Yeah.
I mean, it was, you guys have known each other for so long.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because there was never really a start. We were kind of born into the situation. So my sister was best friends with his mom growing up. So my mom and his mom obviously got pregnant around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
I was born in December. He was born in April. And then just like that, we were best friends since. And we used to always say his birthday was April 30th. We never celebrated his birthday. We celebrated our best friend anniversary. That was when we first
That's awesome.
became best friends. So
you were sitting there bedside.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And his mom was young, and my mom already had 2 kids, so she kind of knew the deal. So it just as a family, they say it takes a village, but as a family, we all kind of just came together, and Aaron and I grew up together.
Yeah. And then you guys went to what school together?
We went to William R. Dew Temple, which is the
Will-
elementary school.
William R. Dew Temple.
William R. Dew Temple.
The classic.
Yeah, we went there for a little bit together. He split up. He went to Bain. I went to Parkview, which for those of you that don't know, they're like just opposite sides of the same city.
Yeah.
And then in high school, freshman year, it would have been freshman year, he actually moved in with me because his mom moved to Bristol, but he wanted to stay in Cranston. So he moved in with me for a little bit. We both went to Cranston East, and we would walk to school together, hang out, and come back, walk back, and he'd be here playing PlayStation by the time I got home, or vice versa when he had practice or I had practice. So yeah, we just kind of
PlayStation or basketball.
Yeah, that's pretty much
or basketball on the PlayStation.
yeah. When it wasn't basketball, it was 2K.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm trying to think when I first started playing basketball with Aaron. I mean, you played CLCF. He played CLCF. What age did you guys play?
That must have been whatever the youngest age to play a sport was.
I think it's like 9 or 10, right?
I was gonna say like maybe 9. Yeah, that sounds about right. But he was all basketball. I liked basketball, but man, I just wasn't it, Chief. That wasn't for me.
Dude, I still remember playing at Hope Highlands though.
Yeah,
because me and Aaron played on that team when he was at Bain and I was at Parkview. And
yeah.
You were on a different team. You used to be on the white team. I remember correctly.
Yeah.
But I remember those days were crazy at Hope Island. Saturday mornings, right?
Mm-hmm.
We played Saturday morning.
Yeah, man.
Damn, it's crazy.
It was a while ago when you think about it, but it doesn't feel like it. It just time flies like that.
10 years ago, though.
Yeah.
Because we were all 13. So me, Aaron, and Corv were all on the same team at 13. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then the next year, we played together at East because, like you said, he moved in with you. And then Corv was still in middle school. But me and Aaron played freshman ball together, repping Cranston. Bam, bam.
It's a throwback.
Yeah, super throwback. It's crazy that I still have these, and what's really crazy is how big this is on me. I was tiny when I got to high school. I was like $130 soaking wet, like 5'8", and now I'm still wearing this, and it's big. It's hanging all over the place.
It was a dress when you wore it.
Yeah, dude, it really was. It was crazy. That's wild. And so, what ended up happening with him like moving out and all that stuff? How long did he stay with you for?
Yeah, so he only stayed with me for a little bit. I don't even know if it was a total of a year, but it was pretty close. His grandmother lives down the street, so I think he had just ended up kind of like going there, but he'd like sleep there, but he'd spend all the time here. And there was one point where his mom had a house a street over. It was just kind of like a lot of moving around and a lot of shifting pieces, but he always stayed at East, and he went to CCRI. He's a Cranston kid like all of us.
Yeah. So let's go back a little bit. Like what are your defining characteristics for Aaron? How do you explain Aaron for people that don't know him?
Yeah, so this is I've had to do this question quite a bit, and the only way I can ever really explain it is, you and I like to think that we're, nice, outgoing people, and we don't really have any problems with anybody, but there's probably like one or two people
hold grudges
that doesn't like us, or we don't like them. You know what I mean? Like there's just kind of like that weird. And with Aaron, man, I can't name one person that had a problem with him or that he had a problem with. Because, like, even scuffles on the basketball court or whatever, 5 minutes later, he'd be like, hey, man, that's part of the game. It's all good, man. Still got love for you, bro. So, he was super outgoing and, like, just full of joy and cheer, and was chill, man. Had no problems with anybody.
Yeah, dude. I couldn't have said it better. I mean, we had our fair share. You're in high school. You're on the same team.
Yeah.
You're not on the same team, or you're playing against each other in practice, and like never did anything get held, for longer than, like you said, 5 minutes.
Spur of the moment type
like,
stuff.
Yep, it happened. It's over. Move on. What are some of your favorite stories, like childhood? Maybe like one very defining story, something that just sits in your head all the time.
This is not going to portray exactly what I just said, but I swear. I think I was playing basketball. We were probably at Dew Temple, honestly.
Yeah.
And there was these kids, and I'm a loudmouth. I've always been a loudmouth. So I think I was just kind of jawing at some kids, and they were jawing back, and it was a small, like, basketball court stuff.
Yeah.
So it escalates a little bit, and we're pushing each other and shoving each other. And Aaron knows this kid, and Aaron's friends with this kid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of weird because he's like, well, they're both my friends, but, Will's my best friend, and this kid's just a friend.
Yeah.
And he pushes me, I push him. And it's like I see him kind of wind up, get ready to hit me. And at the time, you said you were small. I was probably smaller than you when I was a freshman. I think I was 5'2" until freshman year. So yeah. I see this kid wind up, and I'm like, I'm going to get hit right in the face, and there's nothing I'm going to do about it. And all of a sudden, Aaron just comes through, boom, and just nails the kid. And the kid falls, and Aaron's like right there, and he helps him back up, man. He was just like, hey, man, I just like we're still cool. I just had to handle the business. You know what it is?
What?
So it's super defining. I mean, he was loyal. He was protective.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't he wasn't going to jump on the kid and keep going. Like
no, it was just let's
had to do
it right there.
Yeah. So
wow, that's absolutely hysterical. And I mean, thinking back on it, I was a loudmouth playing basketball as well.
It might have been you. I hope it wasn't.
I probably still have something right here on my cheekbone. I might have been there for it though, and I just don't remember it. There's a good chance of that because we spent a lot of time at Dew Temple.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to some of the stuff I got into on the court, and he was always right there, always down to get in the middle of it.
Yeah.
But like you said, never holding it against anybody.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And one of the most defining things that I'll always remember is one was the 3-on-3 tournament that me, him, and Zach used to do back at East. That was always so fun. We were like the three amigos from like freshman to junior and senior year.
Yeah.
The core of our kind of like class for basketball.
I hit a jump shot in his face in that tournament. It was probably I was playing with like Chris Campbell. It was random. I got picked up last minute. I hit a jump shot in Aaron's face. I think until 23, I never let him live it down. And it's probably the only shot I made the whole game. But
that's so funny. That's crazy. That was a fun tournament. We used to have fun. I'll never forget that picture though. Me, him, and Zach in the middle of the court. And then I also remember he had he loved shoes, man.
Yeah.
Aaron's love for crazy shoes. I remember he used to wear the pink foams.
Pink foams,
man. No, nobody can rock those. Like that is.
There's a picture. There's a picture on like all over the place. I have it. A senior night of him like in the 3-point stance with the pink foams.
The Cranston Herald Pic.
Yeah. The Cranston
Herald.
Iconic picture.
Yep, that's so funny. Those were tough.
If you remember back in the day, foams were like not. Nobody was hooping in foams.
Nobody like balls to.
Yeah.
They're heavy. Those are a heavy shoe.
Absolutely.
He had that like slow, methodical game.
He had that like Paul Pierce game. I always said like
Yes,
he just did a
100%.
bunch of stuff right.
Yeah. And I mean, we grew up, right? Like that was prime time Rondo, KG, Ray, and Paul. That
Yeah.
was like, we used to just go to school and talk about them all day, every day, all the time. I got the Rondo picture right here on my right,
Yeah.
actually.
I used to say that Paul Pierce was his real dad. He kind of looked like him too. So.
He did. Yeah, that's so funny. Aaron loved the Rondo move, though.
He was filthy at it. He was probably better than Rondo at it. It was dumb.
Because like I said, he was slow. He had that like slow, methodical game. Crazy. What else was I gonna say? There was one other story that I had. Now I'm drawing a blank on it.
Spent too much time down memory lane right there.
Yeah, got sidetracked. So let's go into kind of what Aaron did after high school.
Yeah, so I mean, very similar. He went to CCRI, and you know, him and we grew up together, so we're very much alike. School wasn't exactly his thing, so he works a lot. Like he worked kind of these same thing, like on and off jobs here and there. I think I ran a summer camp once, and I hired him to be like my health officer. This being a health officer, like, but he just put Band-Aids on kids' knees when they fell.
It's all about who you know in Cranston.
Yeah. The big thing though is his dad actually opened up, and his dad had always been involved with dogs, and he kind of ran like a dog boarding out of his house. But his dad opened up K9 to 5 on Ridge Street in Providence. So Aaron just, you know, was always there. He was always taking care of the dogs. He did the overnights and he did the pickups. So I mean, and he worked there for years. And we used to just, you know, he just hung out a lot. And Cindy, you know, Cindy.
Yeah, me and Cindy, I remember having class with her. I think it was freshman or sophomore year, and that was when I initially like met her.
Yeah.
And, super cool, laid back chick.
And she, you know, so they dated for a while. I couldn't even tell you how long. Oh, it feels like almost forever, but you know, post high school, really.
Yeah, that was kind of when that happened, because I didn't hear or know of that in high school.
Yeah, I think it was probably like maybe almost fresh out of high school, at least maybe a year out of high school, but
yeah, that makes sense.
Neither here nor there. Yeah, so I mean, if he wasn't spending time with, you know, the boys or playing basketball, he was with Cindy, and you know, they moved in together. They got engaged.
I didn't know that for a while. I had no idea any of that had happened, and that just, I think that was me just like not being around Cranston. I was after high school. I went to Mass. I would come back every once in a while, but during the summers, I was always doing. I mean, we played basketball. Me and Aaron played basketball together a couple times. We play at the Y, you know, play at Dew Temple. We even Doric, but yeah, I didn't know that they had. When did they actually get engaged?
I think it was this year, actually. I think it was like January, maybe February. I wouldn't know. I mean, I could look it up very quickly, but I think it was right around that time frame. But, you know, everybody we all knew that they were in it for the long haul. Yeah. Probably after the first year. And I always say to Cindy, because Cindy and I are really good friends, obviously. Yeah, she's my sister-in-law, so I always say I get to claim Aaron's childhood, but she gets to claim Aaron's adulthood. So we kind of split it right down the middle.
That's awesome. It's a great way to look at it. So when did he start having health complications and issues?
Yes.
Like I said, I remember playing basketball with him and everything, and never really heard of anything. And then all of a sudden, you know, stuff just kind of popped up, and I was, you know, I didn't know any of that, or I was kind of blindsided. So What kind of started to transpire?
Yeah, so I think it was a couple of years ago. Obviously, it was 3 years, maybe 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago. But he had a like kind of like a lump, a small lump on the side of his head.
Okay.
And this would have been 2017, I believe.
Yeah.
2016, I believe.
16, yeah.
It would have been 2016. So he had a small lump on his head that didn't hurt, didn't bother him at all. But I think as like the summer went on, it kind of started to grow and got a little bigger, and there was a little kind of irritation there, and finally somebody was like, "You should go get it checked out."
Mm-hmm.
So in September of that year, when he went to the doctor and he went to get it all checked out and got it all scanned, it was confirmed that it was sarcoma cancer, which if you don't know what sarcoma cancer is, it's the cancer of soft tissues or bones.
Mm-hmm. And it can pretty much tackle any part of the body.
It can hit you anywhere, and his started here.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously that's a really dangerous spot for cancer to be. Yeah. So I think they started like almost immediate treatment on it before it got any worse than it did. I think they went through 2 months, I think, of treatment there, and it was cleared. It was gone. It wasn't there anymore. Had no problems with it.
Mm-hmm.
So he got to ring the bell, free of cancer.
Gotcha.
And then I wasn't there, and I feel bad. I wasn't there for a ton of it.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously because just like adulthood happens. But I think a couple months later, he was feeling a little weird, feeling a little different. He went back for another checkup, and it's synovial sarcoma cancer. So it uses like his bloodstream, and it works through his whole body rather than just staying central. So it was metastatic. So it actually traveled to his lungs first, I believe. Yeah, I think I want to say it's his lungs. And it's weird because I know for sure all of these things, but things happen it happens so quick, but so slow at the same time that you kind of all of that whole
it all blends together.
Just blends together.
Becomes one blur.
Yeah. So he had it in his lungs. I think it traveled to his stomach. It kind of traveled all throughout his body. And to the point where I think it was the beginning of this year, actually, 2019. And I'm sorry, I want to take a step back. Back then, they gave him, I think, like 6 months to a year. And that was 2016.
That was the second checkup, and they gave him after he had been.
That would have been technically, I think that would have been 2017, but
2017.
Second checkup, it wasn't looking good. And he powered through the next couple of years, and at the beginning of this year, it would have been May, I think. May. It was just kind of like, yeah, it's going to happen kind of any day now.
So it was just a constant kind of dwindling in strength.
Yeah, it would like, well, it was weird because it came in stages.
Okay.
Right. So there'd be like a small time where he was like, he couldn't move, couldn't get out of bed. And then we went on a cruise. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And we like walked around a whole week in all these different countries, and he got back and he was fine. And then, it kind of hit him again. And it was kind of that constant up and down for a little while. But that's kind of how that cancer worked. It would hit, mm-hmm. And then he'd get treated. And then it would hit somewhere else, treated. And it just kind of, it showed in his everyday life. But, June of this year, we went on like a vacation, and we were having fun, and everything like that. And this is, just right after the doctors kind of gave him any day now.
Yeah.
And he fought and powered through, until the early July. And then they did, and while all this is going on, there's like, they're upping treatments, and, he's getting connected to like a morphine pump at home, and he's on an oxygen mask at home.
So like way of life, just totally kind of.
Yeah, it changed. Like, I don't like the word you used, the word dwindled. I don't think it dwindled. I definitely think it changed. And what I mean is, instead of Aaron joking and laughing in the Jeep driving around all over the place, he was joking and laughing at home. And like, nights weren't as long. He had to go, like, he'd be tired because the morphine would kind of put you on your ass, for lack of a better terms. So it didn't exactly dwindle, but it changed, and it showed as time went on.
Yeah. So, I mean, being like you said, adulthood happens, but like, obviously all this started to come back, and you, I can't imagine you missing a lot. You were probably there as much as you possibly could be for him.
Yeah, for sure. And
me as well a lot, right? So obviously you're not going to just sit there with him all the time and everything, but just from like a mindset perspective, obviously, like you said, super just joyful kid, right?
Yep.
How did he deal with, or how did you did you talk to him about, like, how to stay up and keep your head up, and like what things to just kind of do to avoid hitting maybe a tough,
hitting that wall? Yeah.
Because I it's not even fathomable for anybody who's not dealing with it.
Yeah. And we had a weird, we were brothers essentially, and we were never really too sappy, and we really didn't have too many of those, like, like what happens now talks. A lot of it was just kind of, if I knew he had a rough day, I showed up and we played 2K. And it wasn't exactly like I was trying to avoid it or anything. It was just kind of like, it's happening, but we're still us. We're still going to hang out. We're still going to do what we got to do. And it's funny because, I probably hit those walls of like, what the fuck, more than he did.
Yeah.
Because he was just like, nah, I'm not, it's not, that's, that's just how he was. Like, nope, I'm going to fight until the last stop.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And I mean, and Cindy, I can't say this enough. If Cindy's listening, Cindy's going to listen.
Hope so.
She means more to all of us than she probably knows. And I think Aaron showed that. But we, like, even just hanging out, you could feel it. That kind of like, nah, we're in this together. Like, that bond.
Yeah.
Because it's weird, and what they don't tell you about, like, the grieving process, right? And I don't mean to go on too much of a tangent.
No, go as long as you want, man.
Is like what they don't tell you about it is, like, there's this weird guilty feeling about it. Because, here's my best friend playing PlayStation, and he's like clearly going through this. And you just kind of know in the back of your head, like, we can fight as much as we want, but we're still so sad because, he's dying from cancer. You don't want to give up on him, but still, like, in the back of your mind, you got that, like, weird, deep grieving feeling. And it's just wild. It's crazy.
So let me ask you this, because unfortunately enough, right, there's tons and tons of people out there that have family members that are dealing with cancer, or have loved ones that are going through scenarios like that. Do you have any insight or just kind of tips for people that, when you get a feeling like that, or when you're in this situation, kind of how to keep your head above water, how to avoid those like what the fuck moments. Or
Yeah,
not necessarily avoid. I'm sorry to interrupt, but not to avoid, right? Because you can't avoid them, but how to deal with them, how to kind of move forward.
right. And I think it's, I don't have degrees in this stuff, and I don't know how factual it is, but it's obviously a natural feeling. So I think like the biggest thing that at the time I was kind of beating myself up about is like that guilty feeling. It's going to happen. It's okay. But the important thing, as you're going through all this stuff, is not to hold on to that guilty feeling while you're spending time. Because you don't want to waste a potential memory being guilty or being scared. And, in the beginning stages of the cancer and everything like that, up and down from Massachusetts and back a ton for Aaron and Cindy. And it's just something I kind of missed out on because I was, admittedly, I was scared. I didn't want to go see my best friend sitting in a hospital and get poked and prodded. Yeah. So I let that guilty experience kind of make me miss out on a couple potential, big life memories that I could have shared. And it's something that I kind of naturally realized as I went on, and that, that's my big insight, is to make sure that you can realize that as soon as you can. Because like the worst thing in the world is not seeing somebody for a couple of months and then finding out that way.
Yeah.
Which, unfortunately happened to a lot of people. So,
and it's bound to happen. Like not everybody can be there. Not everybody.
Right. And yeah. And I don't want that to sound like not a lot of people were there and everything. It's just, there's 24 hours in a day. He's got to do what he's got to do. He's got to handle, the people that are closest to him. So if you are, the closest to a person like that, or you have somebody that close to you, just make sure that guilty feeling or whatever, it's natural, but make sure it doesn't ruin what could be better than a guilty feeling.
Yeah. I think that's a perfect way to say it. I love what you had to say about don't hold on to it and let it take away from potential memories, because you only have so many left, right? And there's only so many opportunities.
And that goes on even if you don't have somebody that is going through cancer or going through some health troubles. Like overall, people as whole should appreciate the people around them better, because unfortunately, this shit happens.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
Gratefulness is something that I hear so many people talk about that have, in essence became successful and are happy and joyful in their life. It's a sense of empathy and a sense of gratefulness. And if you can just learn to feel where others are coming from and not hold that against them, and then be grateful for that perspective as well as yours in the scenario that you are in or that you have an opportunity to take advantage of, that goes far beyond, any situation that you might find yourself in. So I think that'll help a lot of people, and I hope anybody who's listening can take something from that, because that's huge. So now, like you said, your drive and your mission now is to start, and not to start because you already did, but to keep the Murphy Fund going. So can you give us some insight into the Murphy Fund, who's helping you along with that, and where it's going?
Yeah, for sure. So I think what's important to know is kind of like the backstory of where it all started. I do this every so often when I'm in this like weird rage state of just like deep rooted anger. I get super productive. Okay. And I can't stop working, and I just kind of get focused in. So I sent out a bunch of emails, and the most important one that ended up here was I emailed the CEO of the the National Foundation for Cancer Research.
Whoa! All right,
and
say that one more time.
Yeah, so I don't even know how I got the email,
Where do you find an email address like that?
I think I just kind of kept clicking, it was clickbait sites. I was just click, 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 click. So I got the email of the CEO of the National Foundation for Cancer Research, which is a great organization. They do a lot of cancer stuff. And I kind of sent them an email. It was maybe 3 or 4 paragraphs, but essentially it was just like what the fuck, get your shit together, guys. For lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And I just kind of emailed them all about like my friendship with Aaron, and I wanted to do all these things, and I had this idea, blah blah blah. And they emailed me back, and this was probably March, maybe February. Okay. And they emailed me back almost immediately and was like, "This is a great idea. We love it. We'd love to set up kind of a separate fund through us, to help people that are going through this." And I kind of just put it in my back pocket and sat on it and, thought about it really. And it was something that was kind of always there. As Aaron got a little sicker, it was something that, I had in my mind, but it wasn't worth putting all this time and effort into it right now when I'd much rather, go play 2K with my friend.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just kind of sat on it. I didn't really tell anybody about it. And then all this started happening. Unfortunately, Aaron, obviously he passed away. And somebody came up to me and was like, we can't let Aaron end here. Like, his story doesn't end here.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck, you're right. So I had this logo drawn up all ready for it. And I emailed the people back, and I was like, all right, like, what's the plan here? And that's like 3 or 4 months after they emailed me. And so I brought it up to Cindy, Aaron's fiance,
mm-hmm.
and she was like, "This is a great idea. This is awesome." Because they sent me a nice email on letterhead, and I was like, "Cool." And then it just kind of felt weird. And I don't want to knock any other organizations or anything, but it felt weird, raising all this money through Aaron's name for an organization that doesn't know who Aaron is and doesn't know like really where we're coming from. And the work they do is great, but I had no way of telling, is the money that I'm getting going straight to sarcoma research, or is it kind of going into this, this pot of money that then goes there?
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like the nature of the beast with a large organization like that. They've got full-time employees and they've got blah, blah, blah. So I think we said, fuck it, let's just make our own.
I love it.
So we brought in our my good friend Zach, who's also one of Aaron's really good friends. Because I know a lot about computer stuff and logos and merchandise, and Cindy knows a lot about the admin things, and she knows a lot more about the cancer side of things than I do. But I don't know how to set a budget, and I don't know how to do taxes, and we don't know how to do, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we aren't taught that shit.
Yeah, exactly. So we brought in Zach, who does know, and it's just kind of weird because we're all like, we're all best friends, but we all have these skill sets that match almost too perfectly together for it not to be like kind of meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we wanted to take it slow. We wanted to do it, methodically and make sure that we did everything right. And we met on Tuesday, on a Tuesday, at a Brood Awakenings. And we were like, all right, let's.
The one on Pontiac?
No, Bald Hill. They serve beer there. We met on a Tuesday, and on Friday, I sent a group chat out like, hey, so we're officially the only sarcoma organization in Rhode Island.
Wow.
I just went to the Secretary of State with the paperwork, and I was like, all right, I've got my paperwork. And they stamped it right there, and they were like, approved.
What? That's really wild.
Yeah. So it just kind of like, we wanted to do it slow and everything. We wanted to really think it through. And then
it was just like 2 days, 7 hours later, it was done.
Boom. And we still put a ton of thought into things, and
Yeah.
we don't ever make a decision without consulting everybody
Mhm.
that's involved and everything. But yeah, man, I mean, the goal here is, to raise awareness for sarcoma cancer, because, before this, I knew what cancer and breast cancer was, and I didn't, and there's just so many different types of cancer. And this is unfortunately one of the deadliest ones. And it sucks, and people need to know how much it sucks.
Yeah. No, it's not real until you know it. You don't know it, you don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. So now I know nothing about nonprofits and organizations. What is the day-to-day process of that look like? I mean, like, this is a nonprofit organization. It's a business of sorts. Like, what does that look like? I mean, as the president, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, so the first part of business in general is having this idea, and the second part is letting people know that you have this idea. So right now we're just really trying, to get the word out there and tell Aaron's story and all of this stuff, so that eventually, we can start doing some large events, and we can do those 5Ks that everybody knows about. So day-to-day operations, it's a lot of emails. It's a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of, hey guys, I got this idea. What do you think? All right, let's work on it. Let's do this. Let's do that. All right, cool. It's happening. And up to now, our big thing right now has been shirts, t-shirts. We ordered 111 t-shirts or something like that.
Nice. Any reason for that number?
Not really. We had a really hard time. We wanted to get 100. We had a really hard time choosing sizes. So we said, what's 11 more if it's going to give us less of a headache? But so we ordered them through New England Athletic Apparel, which is funny because they're owned by by our 4th grade teacher and Aaron's basketball coach.
Yeah.
And I'm sure they've got a bunch of other people, but those are the important ones. So they jumped right on it, and they were like, absolutely.
Good old Zeke.
Yeah.
Shout out to Zeke.
I got the shirt right here, actually.
The Murphy Fund. Dope.
So it's pretty simple. It's a black shirt, but it's got the triple color logo, which is cool.
I love it.
We put a lot of time into it. So that's been our big thing. The next big things is just kind of obviously, selling the shirts and going to events and just kind of getting the word out there.
Yeah. So now, are you doing more like B2B or B2C stuff? Like you calling and emailing like businesses locally, or more like corporate entities and stuff like that?
Yeah. So right now what we're doing, right now we've kind of done like this personal stage that we're at. So people that know Aaron and people that at least know Aaron's story already. Mm-hmm. And they may not know the whole story, but they know like little bits and pieces of it. So we've been just kind of dealing with a lot of people like that, and a lot of people that are just kind of like, oh, this is so cool that you guys are doing this. Aaron was so nice. But on the back end of stuff, we're doing a lot of, I'm trying to book events. I'm trying to do like those dining donation things. So it's a lot of business to business, trying to talk to managers and do all these things. And obviously we'd like to get to the point where we're doing our own
events.
Big event, and businesses are coming to us to try and set up for it.
Absolutely.
But right now we're the business trying to go to them to set up for it, which is awesome. And, through Aaron's dad and that whole side of the family at K9 to 5, we've been able to kind of network with a lot of businesses. So we're actually going to a pet walk on September 21st.
Nice.
Which is, it's a big, large scale thing. And we're going to have a little booth there. We'll be selling little homemade dog treats and, some merchandise, and with K9 to 5 as a partner.
Cool.
And, proceeds will go to the Murphy Fund, obviously. So
That's awesome. What's funny, I texted you over the weekend, and because I realized that my business, the huge online global business that I'm working with, they have their own nonprofit. It's called MA Cares, and It's actually for military vets and service dogs. So it's for people that in the military, people that served, or people with like long-standing kind of like chronic health conditions.
Yep.
And all the proceeds go to getting them dogs and taking care of the dogs for those people that have alongside them. And we actually, my friend Mark and I, we signed up for a virtual walk. So what you do is you basically take like a selfie stick and you do a 5K walk, and you send the video in, and you get a t-shirt and you get a couple other things. When you send the video in, they get to watch it, and the proceeds and everything for buying the shirt and signing up go to the MA Cares. So it's kind of actually the first thing that I've took an initiative in myself within like a nonprofit organization. I've done walks before, but with other people, and like for things that I wasn't aware of. Someone was just like, hey, do you want to do this? Like Roger Williams, there's tons of events there. I'm sure you guys will get into something there. I think that's a cool idea. It's a great place, right? It's in the backyard, so might as well utilize it.
And it's crazy that you bring up like this virtual walk thing, because we live in a time where there's just so many opportunities for people to give back and so many different ways to do it. And there's also just so much untouched, ideas and avenues to go through.
It's crazy.
I've know a lot of youth sports and I know a lot of adult sports, but I've never heard of like an adult basketball tournament. Just where anybody wants to, anybody. So that's, I'm not going to say too much, but it's something we're working on. 3 on, the big three,
You got to zipper it up right there, bud.
I mean, I want people to know, we're working on it. So don't.
Step 1, have an idea. Step 2, tell people about it.
Let the people know about it. Yeah.
That's awesome. And dude, anything that comes across your table, anything that comes across your mind, let me know. I'd love to be able to help and continue to, like you said, get the word out there like we're doing with this, and
yeah, for sure.
Just keep spreading it. And I was also, I had mentioned over the weekend too, we have, I don't know exactly how it works because like it's a huge company, and like I said, I haven't done much with the nonprofit side of it. But if you're a nonprofit organization and you send in your paperwork, you can get a website that has thousands, millions of products, all these different stores and partners, and ability to go to local restaurants, even things like, what's it called? Drawing a blank. Like exclusive products, right? So if you guys are, holding an event for something in particular, or you want to do a dining event at a local restaurant that Aaron loved or something, there's opportunity to partner with that restaurant so that people that are coming can get incentive, and all of that goes right into an account that you guys would have with the website. So that'd be something cool to look into, and we can talk about that more in the future too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, I don't know all the details, but I can find them out, and I can
and it all goes back to what I was saying. Like there's just so many different
it's
ways and things. It's crazy.
It's so wild. I mean, that's the limitless theory. That's my theory, man. Is like everything has another option. There's always an opportunity ahead. There's always something to move forward with. So then my last couple things I wanted to touch on. where so where can people find you guys right now?
Yeah, so I mean, you pick your choice of social media, and we're on it. We've kind of, we've split it up, so we're all on the same page, but we're all, I handle Facebook, and Cindy's been handling the Twitter and the Instagram and the LinkedIn and stuff. So we're across the board at the Murphy Fund.
Okay.
Cool. You look up the Murphy Fund on Facebook, and then of course we've got our website, which is themurphyfund.org.
Yes, I'm gonna pull that up in a second.
Yeah, you kind of can't, you can't really mess that one up. But
Yeah.
there is a lot of Murphy funds out there, which we've learned. Maybe not a lot of Murphy funds, but a lot of things named Murphy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Even when I looked it up initially, I just typed in Murphy Fund. A lot of different things came up, but everything, your website can be found on any of the social media bios, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then it'll be down in the description below as well.
And it's really simple, themurphyfund.org.
Yeah.
We're the only one.
You can't have two of those, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So let me pull that up quick, and that way people can get a little insight as to what it looks like. Can you see it?
I can't see it.
Here we go.
Oh, there it is.
Now we can. All right. So the murphyfund.org, got the awesome logo and banner at the top. I'm guessing this is kind of the mission statement.
Yeah, it's just kind of a little excerpt to let you know what it is.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell people a little bit about AM22, hashtag AM22?
Yeah, so 22 was always Aaron's number, whether he had, whether he was wearing a different number or not. Everybody kind of knew that 22 is his number. And it's really funny because him and I both, use 22. We both claim it as our own.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who had it first.
Well,
even
you're older, so maybe.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. I don't know when I got 22, and I don't know when he got 22. But it's just kind of always been something that we fought over, and something that we could share. So 22 is his basketball number, and obviously AM is.
You can see the. Did you see?
Yeah.
There? That's crazy.
AM is stands for Aaron Murphy. So it's just kind of. It's a simple way, not everybody can give money, and not everybody can do this business to business stuff. But everybody's got a Twitter, everybody's got an Instagram. So it's a simple way to kind of pass the message along.
And yeah, just spread awareness. I love it. So if you guys are listening, watching, or want to share this, use that hashtag. Share it to other platforms. And then if they wanted to find the shirts and stuff, that would be at support.
Yep. So you can click either there with that navigation on the top, whichever.
Okay, cool. So,
so we've got T-shirts, stickers, and then a sticker bundle.
Yeah, the T-shirt and sticker bundle, right? Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
So the shirts are $22, which
had to do it. I love that.
We had to do it. Not only is it a reasonable. I've got more T-shirts that cost over $22 than I do that cost under. So not only is it a reasonable price, but it's a price with a meaning for sure.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Cool. So, guys, go check it out. You can go to all their stuff on the bottom too, social media. Run a race in our honor. So how does that work? If you were to run a race, like a 5K, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And then
a lot of there are 5Ks that are for specific organizations.
Mm-hmm.
And then there are just 5Ks to be 5Ks.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Boston Marathon. So in order to run in that race, you have to run for a charity or a nonprofit organization. And a lot of them you have to pledge a certain amount of money, whether it's $200 or $100, or I think the Boston Marathon is it's over $1,000 or something like that.
I would have never guessed. I didn't know
So,
people paid money to run for that long.
oh yeah, it's it's a big thing, but it's it's all for charity too. So
Yeah,
in order to run in these races, like you can't just run a race just to run a race. You have to run a race
for a
in
purpose.
the name of a charity or something.
Okay.
So let's say you like the race is a $500 charity entry fee. You pledge $500. Once you hit that $500 goal or whatever, you're allowed to race.
Okay. And that $500 goes to, excuse me, what you designate.
Goes to what you designate, right?
Okay. That's cool. All you runners out there, that's a huge thing.
Yeah, and a lot of races do teams. So like maybe you don't run. Maybe there isn't a specific entry fee for a person, but there's a goal for a team.
Okay.
So
now,
you set up the team.
Do you know of anything with like something even like a Tough Mudder or Spartan race or things of that nature? Because I know those are like big team events.
Yeah, those are big team events. And I didn't even think about that. You just kind of planted the seed in my brain.
Cool.
Because those are a hit. And I haven't run one.
I love them. Yeah, I was actually talking to someone earlier today about running my first one in November. It's called a Savage race.
Yeah, and I don't really even know how they work. I don't know, like, are they just kind of a corporate event? Like, you just run it, or I'm sure that there are charity, type Spartan races and stuff like that. It's something I'm probably gonna get off this and look at when we're done.
Yeah,
but
back down for sure.
Because that's an avenue that I feel is kind of untouched. Not a lot of people. I mean, everybody knows about Tough Mudders and Spartan races and everything like that, but I haven't heard of like a big Tough Mudder for charity type thing.
For charities, yeah, I haven't been either. Hey man, first in Rhode Island, you could be the first to do that.
Yeah. And that's I can't say it enough. It was crazy when we put all the paperwork in, when we looked up sarcoma organization in like the Rhode Island database. The only thing you see is the Murphy Fund.
That's so yeah.
And it's dope and it's like a prideful feeling, but at the same time, like, how and why?
Yeah, it's like
that's part of our mission. How is there not something already in place?
Established. It wasn't the first one, right, to deal with that. And like where is all this money that you were talking about going? Like where is this pot of money that millions and millions and millions of people are donating to all the time? And it's just kind of seemingly not ending up in a result that can be seen, can be understood.
Right. And that's not saying that there isn't a result, but at the same time, it's just kind of, I feel, and this is our big mission, is the more specific your purpose and the more specific that you can be, mm-hmm. the more impact that you're going to have.
Valid. Very valid.
And one of like the big things here in Rhode Island, and I think it's even expanded outside of Rhode Island, it's for breast cancer. It's the Gloria Gemma Foundation.
Yeah.
And breast cancer has always been a huge thing as far as, like a lot of people are suffering from it. It gets a lot of recognition, but they go hard.
Very hard.
In every aspect. They've got a fire truck. They've got a bus. They know, like, they are the breast cancer people, and
mm-hmm.
you can see every day the impact they're having. And that's where we want to get at. The more specific you can be, the more
impact you can have.
More impact you're bringing.
I like that. All right, man. This was nothing short of insightful, crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. How are you feeling? Good?
This is, and it's really weird because I'm all about this. I love talking about stuff like this. What people say all the time, like, Aaron passed a month ago. How are you dealing with this? How are you like being able to kind of do all of these things and not just kind of laying up in bed? And but I just keep going back to the person that came up to me and was like, Aaron doesn't end here. Aaron can't end here. So I just want to end on the positive note where if somebody's listening and you're going through it, man, story never ends.
Story never ends. It's limitless. I've talked about it on here before with other people, and that's our impact goes way, way, way beyond anything that we can see into the future with, and that's moving forward and taking another step, regardless of, where your staircase ends, it allows for someone else to build upon that. So,
Right. I think it was Mother Teresa said, none of us do great things, but we can all do things that make great.
yeah, make great
And
progress. It's
do little,
crazy.
all of us do little stuff, man.
Yeah, every little thing counts, man. And that goes for the same. Please feel, go support. I'm about to, if I didn't have to enter my credit card information, I was actually going to purchase the shirt when we were on the site. And I was like, damn, I'd have to put in my credit card number.
Everybody would see your credit card.
I can't do that on podcast and put it out there. So I'm going to get off right now and go order that right now.
Sounds good, man. I'll ship it tomorrow.
I'm super excited. I wish I had one beforehand so I didn't have to wear this, but
Hey, man, yeah.
honor still.
You got the OG Murphy Fund shirt on.
And I think it was number 11.
11, yeah.
11, 22. Now my number, big thing I stand for is 33. I think those are very significant numbers. I don't know if you're into all that stuff, but
yeah, I mean, maybe that's why I don't even, like I said, I don't even know why I have 22. I don't know where it started. It's just such a, like, numbers are weird in general. It's just such a big number.
It's crazy, but
I've got it tattooed on me now.
Nice. Where is it? Anywhere we can see?
Yeah, you can probably see. So it says AM 22.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can really.
That's perfect. That's nice, man. In honor of.
Yeah.
So, thank you again, man. This was amazing.
Thank you, man.
No, of course. Everyone, please go support. Like you definitely know by now, Aaron was an amazing guy. Never wasted a moment. Just always looking to be happy, be joyful, and bring that to somebody else around him. And I think he did that for all the years I was around him. Can't thank him enough. And like you continue to say, and you continue to keep telling yourself, he hasn't stopped here, and he's watching out. And I think he'd be very prideful and happy with what you guys are doing, man.
Thanks, man. And I just want to. It's not just me here. There's a huge team of family members behind us, kind of working every day. It's just we're happy to do it for our boy, and we're happy to do it for everybody that's going to benefit from it later on.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, y'all. Until next time, be limitless. Peace.
Peace.
Please, y'all, if you were able to take anything from today's podcast, please share it with your friends, family, and anybody looking to live that free and limitless lifestyle. Or you could even write a review or leave a comment down below for us. It'll be greatly appreciated. I'm also looking to partner with the best of the best in the brands and services that are going on in these industries that I'm discussing here with guests, and I believe we have some. So please go check them out and support them whenever possible. You will not be disappointed. With that being said, y'all, please go check out themurphyfund.org and support Will, Cindy, and the rest of the Murphy Fund team that have put together this amazing organization, the only sarcoma cancer research organization that's privately ran and owned in Rhode Island. They're doing big things in a very tough time to allow other people who deal with this in the future have an easier time than they did, have more resources, and hopefully in the future eradicate this problem fully, which I believe is absolutely possible. And with your support, they're going to get one step closer. So please go check out themurphyfund.org. Learn more about Aaron if you don't already know. And just learn more about the Murphy Fund if you did know how great of a person Aaron was and everything that he stood for, because I think they're doing a great job of living in his honor and continuing his mission and what he would have wanted to do. So please, please, please go check out the murphyfund.org. Buy a shirt for $22, a sticker for a couple bucks, or the combination pack for $25 like I did. All little bit helps, and all that money is going to a good place. It's not a huge corporate ran organization and NPO nonprofit, so it's getting used and put into good places. And secondly, like we talked about on the show, I want you guys to go check out macares.org. They are a huge help to service animals, for homeless and abandoned and injured animals, and what they're doing is providing these animals with a way out of their current situation, and then providing them and partnering them with young children or veterans, and basically creating a relationship for a service dog. And they're doing a lot bigger things than that as well, but that is the basis of what they do. And I've seen firsthand, I've met the dogs, I've met the people, and I recently did a MA Cares virtual walk and run, in which case we raised money by simply sending in virtual videos of us doing like a 5K or a mile run or even just a walk. So you can go on there and support and learn more about them and what drives them, and when they started back in 2012, what the mission is and what it still is. And lastly, check out LegalZoom.com. On LegalZoom, you'll be able to possibly start your own business or create your own LLC like I am in the process of doing. It is a global attorney team that allows you to work virtually with somebody to get all your questions answered, and they've created a platform that allows you to start your own business and buy business insurance and handle all those legal obligations while having a home-based business, which is more prevalent than ever. So go check out LegalZoom.com if you are an unfranchised owner or a health professional with Market America or Nutrimetrics, whatever it may be, even if it's Conquer Entertainment and Motives. If you are a partner with Market America and Shop.com, you can get 3% IBV commissions points towards starting your LLC. So if you are looking to create your own LLC and get some of those business questions answered and move forward with that process, which I highly recommend you just get going with, don't wait. Head over to shop.com and go through LegalZoom, and you can get 3% IBV commissions. All right, y'all, so that's all we got for partners. Please go support. These people are doing a lot of work and trying to make this world a better place. As always, move forward, be positive, be limitless, live your truest life, tell your truest story, and pray for the health of those that you love. #AM22. Live on.